Graham Potter is set to become the new manager of West Ham after a horrible 6-month tenure from Julian Lopetegui. Hello and welcome back to INMR, where in today's podcast I'm going to explain Graham Potter's tactics and how he's going to set up at West Ham. Potter built a reputation for tactical flexibility and innovative approaches during his time at Brighton. His ability to adapt his team's structure based on the opposition has been a hallmark of his managerial career. Potter's renowned for his progressive and adaptable coaching style, emphasising tactical flexibility, possession-based play and player versatility. Throughout his career, Potter has employed various formations tailored to his team's strengths and the challenge posed by the opponents. When he managed in Sweden for Östersund, he started with a 4-4-2 and his team was extremely fluid. The wide midfielders maintained width while one forward often dropped deeper, morphing the setup into a 4-2-3-1. Against defensive opponents, the formation shifted to a 4-2-4 with the fullbacks advancing high up the pitch. At Swansea, Potter favoured a 4-2-3-1 formation, focusing on possession. A solid double pivot enabled attacking fullbacks to advance, and right-footed left-back Kyle Norton frequently moved into central areas to create overloads, facilitating combinations through the middle. At Brighton, he regularly altered the system, using a 4-4-2 and 4-2-3-1, but he often preferred a back three in various configurations. Players like Pascal Gross, Alexis McAllister, Solly March and Leandro Trossard were deployed in multiple positions, reflecting his emphasis on versatility. A common setup was the 3-4-2-1, featuring two attacking midfielders supporting a lone striker, forming a central box midfield to overload opposing midfields. Wide centre-backs such as Ben White and Dan Burn were encouraged to advance and support the wing-backs. In possession, Potter's teams are known for their fluidity and positional rotations, making them unpredictable and challenging to defend against. He emphasises building from the back, involving goalkeepers and defenders in short passing sequences to draw opponents forward and create space between the defensive lines. Potter frequently shifted between formations, such as transitioning from a 3-back to a 4-back within a game, in order to exploit opposition weaknesses and respond to match situations. He prefers wingers on their natural flanks, attacking around the outside of opposition fullbacks. At Östersund, his team led the league in dribble attempts but executed few crosses, instead making diagonal passes back in field after reaching the wide areas. Forwards often drifted wide to combine with midfielders, creating space for central runs. At Brighton, the use of two number 10s such as McAllister, Trossard or Gross occupied the opposing centre-backs, allowing forwards to move wide and create central spaces for midfield runners. This approach facilitated intricate build-up play and attacking through central channels. Without the ball, depending on the phase of play, his teams adapted their defensive structures. At Brighton, a back three in possession would transition to a 5-4-1 or a 5-2-3 when defending deeper. The double pivot midfielders are tasked with covering extensive ground to counteract opposition switches and force play to the wide areas, reducing direct threats to goal. Potter employed a man-orientated pressing system, varying between formations like 4-2-3-1 and 3-5-2, depending on the opposition. This adaptability allowed his teams to disrupt opponents' build-up play effectively. When they lose possession, Potter's sides initiated an immediate counter-press to regain control, rather than retreating into a defensive block. This minimised the opposition's opportunity to exploit transitional phases. His teams often press aggressively, especially when the ball is played wide. Fullbacks and wide midfielders apply intense pressure, aiming to lock the ball near the touchline and regain possession. Central players maintain zonal positions to control those central areas. After winning the ball back, instead of launching a quick counter-attack, Potter's team preferred to recycle possession, building attacks methodically to maintain control and dictate the game's tempo. At West Ham, Potter is likely to assess the existing squad to determine how to best implement his tactical ideas. He may introduce a more aggressive pressing system, encouraging forwards and midfielders to engage higher up the pitch, aiming to disrupt opponents early and regain possession in advanced areas. You can also expect a shift to a more possession-based style, with an emphasis on building attacks patiently from the back, involving all outfield players in the build-up phases. Finally, Potter is mostly known for using players in versatile roles. For example, wingers might be tasked with defensive duties as wing-backs, or midfielders could be deployed in deeper playmaking roles to facilitate ball progression. Potter's appointment at West Ham is an interesting one. We obviously haven't seen him in a managerial role for 18 months since his departure from Chelsea, but I do think he would suit this side well if he can get them buying into his ideas and quickly adapting to his versatile ideas. West Ham can save their season and get back up into a top 10 position by the end of the season. That is where I'm going to end today's podcast, but there are plenty of others you can go and listen to. For more content, be sure to check out my website, that's inmrfootball.co.uk. On there you can find match reports, live blogs, club updates and so much more. And if that's not enough, INMR is also on X and Instagram, so you can follow me on both of those platforms for more daily football content. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.